When I started that 2 years ago, I weighed 200.
Wait, how tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
That's a lot,
40.
man.
Yes.
40 for 6 foot, still a lot.
Yes. Yes.
That nigga
Now
humongous.
I'm down to 196.
Wow!
I haven't weighed this less, bro, since high school.
196.
I'm not fat.
Hasn't
I'm
weighed
not
this
fat.
last.
Like, I have no stretch marks or anything like that. Because I'm just, I don't know, I guess I'm just a big guy.
I was a terrible
But
No, 196
student in
for
junior
6
high
foot,
when it
not
came
bad.
to English and
yeah,
grammar
I'm
and
gonna
all
get down
that.
to 180 and then
Just
I'm
I guess I barely got through it, but thank God I started reading books, because if you suck at grammar and you suck at words and communicating, oh my God, there's this thing called a book, and the more you read, it turns out that you're like absorbing what people are writing who are gifted writers.
That's all right. I lost a little bit of my legs and shit. I don't think it's like necessary for me to have
The legs are the most
my
important,
quads.
especially as
I don't think my quads have to be fucking maxed out anymore. I'm not riding a BMX bike anymore.
legs are the most important, especially as you age.
I'm not roller skating anymore.
No, man, but you're gonna be carrying your body around for the rest of your life.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's why legs are really important.
Really?
Of course.
I think your knees are the most important.
The fuck do you think a leg is?
Ourselves out of everything or
Everything
having
goes
a
down.
well.
My friend, he was also a prisoner, and he was put in solitary confinement for an extended period of time.
Like, during college, you know? Bone broth, shit like that.
You take vitamins?
You take vitamins?
I think like specific stuff. Like I'll take omega-3s, collagen, proteins.
Okay, we've come back. That was a quick sample of how people like to waste their time. It's like talking about the weather. Can't stand when people will talk about the weather for 25 minutes. It's just awful. Okay, continuing on in the Kabbalah, the secret doctrine. If you're liking this video, hit the like button. Use your fingers to vote. If you think I'm just a bald, annoying asshole and you want to use the downvote button, you can do that too. That's your choice. That's a you problem, though, because there's no such thing as a downvote or a dislike anymore in the world of positive optimism and positive logic, I guess. It's too disheartening in Mark and Priscilla Chan Zuckerberg's universe, where they're constantly trying to figure out how to fight inflammation. Not even inflation, but inflammation. And why do they have to fight the inflammation? Because they have spike proteins floating endlessly in their bloodstream, coagulating in all the soft tissues of the most susceptible and subtle parts of the human body. Okay. The origins of the Kabbalah. The origins of the Kabbalah are primeval. They are lost in the mists of legend, magic, folklore. They have grown through a process of mystical integration until they have absorbed all the great myths of the world. The Kabbalah is consequently a universal philosophy, combining the eternal masculine and the eternal feminine, and cementing them into the eternally human. So it happens that wherever we search, we find origins. Thus, in Essenism, we find Kabbalism. The Essenes were not to divulge the secret doctrines to anyone, carefully to preserve the books belonging to their sect, and the names of the angels, or the mysteries connected with the Tetragrammaton, and the other names of God and the angels comprised in the Theosophy, as well as with the cosmogony, which also played so important a part among the Jewish mystics and the Kabbalists. But long before the Essenes existed lived the Kabbalah. Aryan and Chaldean esoteric doctrines percolated into it. In Egypt, the mysteries of the sun god, the moon god, of Osiris and Isis impinged upon it. Assyria and Babylon gave it much. Not a very little may be traced to the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Vedantas, and much of the practical Kabbalah to the Tantras, more especially. Historically, the main point of interest is that the Kabbalist is an inveterate plagiarist. He never hesitates to copy, to absorb knowledge from outside. His doctrines, being secret, are vastly attractive. They suck in all mysteries, digest them into a universal form. Consequently, there is both grist and chaff in the Kabbalah, a medley of wisdom and nonsense which often defies separation. The outstanding advantage of this plagiarizing is that it offers something to everyone. Consequently, the Kabbalah has developed into a world-embracing philosophy well adapted to the ideals of a world-scattered race. In it will be found Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, Christianity, theism, deism, dualism, agnosticism, pantheism, Satanism, spiritualism, and atheism, for every cult except polytheism has burnt offerings on the altar of the Kabbalistic mystery, magically depicted in the form of the pan-like Baphomet. It is this extraordinary unity which it is important to remember, for it has been the binding force which has kept Judaism intact. It has waterproofed it against solvent influences. Further still, the Kabbalah does offer to humanity a world religion or cult. In a silent and secret way, its doctrine is the conquering mystery of the life force. Okay, that's going to conclude my reading for the day. I'm going to change the title of this room. We're going to call it John Kitover. Chicago Mayor Vote that can. Okay, I'm gonna bring you back to the Christian dopamine room.
I don't
confused. Like, I'm a little confused by that.
Bro, he was putting GHB and like fucking and like MDMA in the fucking baby oil, bro.
Oh, he's putting drugs in the baby? Oh,
Yeah.
You didn't know that? What?
No.
Why would you put drugs
I
in the baby oil?
thought he was just lubing people up and like oil.
Bro, alright, just look it up, man. Don't take my word for it. Look it up.
Wait, why would you put drugs in the baby oil?
That's a great question.
Give an answer?
You can get high on. I don't think you can get high on MDMA via the skin. I think you gotta get.
Okay. All right. So if it's so that there's places in your body that are very vulnerable, like behind your ears, your armpits, genitalia, your these sort of areas, under your armpits, things like that, your neck, behind your ears, stuff like that.
Oh shit.
So those areas are more susceptible. Like, your hands, think of your hands as being 100%, and like inside your mouth or your privates being, like the most sensitive. Get what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
That's fucking insane.
That is fucking.
You had to hear Spam earlier. He was singing Jewish songs that he learned in the yeshiva.
Talking about Rome, like in Rome, infanticide was a very common practice.
Okay, can you go get something and like just put that up so I can put that up there real quick?
I can find something. I mean, infanticide was pretty big. Why do you think Christians were against abortion? Because of infanticide.
Well, why don't we also, while we're waiting for this wonderful little link from Vanel here, why don't we also just
Once again, hold on one second, Kitty. I'm sorry. Like once again, I'm making a cultural argument. Like that's still going to defer to some kind of cultural phenomena, right? And then like even in the same scenario here, it's still reduced. Like you wouldn't say that's so, but go ahead.
I meant for the conversation, yeah. I'm happy to go on there.
Sure, fair enough. What were you going to say, Kitty?
honestly, it's more or less to everyone, but especially Carlos, who has this weirdly unique concept of treating. No, I firmly believe that you are understanding that life happens at fertilization, which is beautiful. But oh, great! Now there's two Johns. But then I just don't see how you cannot make the correlation between that. And if you look at abortions, and I'm saying over the course of the past decade in America, the numbers are not traveling down; they're going up. So it went from like 95% to less than 95% from education, from for being precautious of it, for having Planned Parenthood and everything else. That less than 95% are due to these heinous acts such as rape, incest, or, God forbid, the mother dies, or the baby and the mother dies. So you're looking at less than 95%. Over 95% of all abortions in America.
Hello, Mighty Regal Green Bean. Put me in the queue after Kitty's done.
I'm done. You can go on, but I'm just saying.
I just want to say based in abortion health. Was that just a comment?
I was requesting to be put in the queue with the other speakers.
Yeah.
If Glorious Green Bean Regal could put me in the queue.
Okay, but Universe, you're also Alice Mr. Crowley. So
Yeah, why are
that's
there
not
two of you?
accurate.
Why are there two of you? Two of you. You can't be two of you here.
Well, the Oracle doesn't have to answer every question. I'm requesting 60 seconds to read from what's called a book.
So what was your
You
point
want more
about
reply from Carlos,
what was,
please?
what was your point about the 95% that they represent? They don't like the 5% of like the rapes and the.
Well, we're looking at yes, sir. We're looking at less than 5%. Less than 5% of these so-called intruders, like you're talking about. So that means over 95% are not intruders. These are, a miracle of life. This is something that it takes an actual physical action of a wiener going inside a vagina and ejaculating.
Whoa, that's disgusting. That's
Well, you know what's
I'm
more
kidding, I'm
disgusting? People killing babies. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, so like.
I'll go after Carlos. I'm gonna go after you.
Yeah, I was just saying to Regal just earlier, like I think it centers around consent. So when someone doesn't consent to the pregnancy, they may then view it as an intruder. So it wouldn't just be that 5%. A lot of like the typical intruder cases, it would be, I don't want this pregnancy, I don't want this in my body. Therefore, the intruder analogy.
No, it makes sense. In those three, actually.
That sounds very convenient.
That's so
That sounds
stupid.
very, very convenient. It means that it is a physical action of a conscious decision, a responsible decision that one is making. And I'm saying that literally overnight.
Okay, so this conversation's gonna stop.
Oh, I don't have to stop it. I'm just wondering, what's it about?
The hokey pokey.
Does anybody read books anymore? Or do people just talk all the time, endlessly?
Yeah, welcome to Earth.
Big Zed, what would you say are the secret doctrines and teachings of the Jewish people?
And listen to me talking. Yeah, what else are we supposed to do?
Mixed, are you familiar with the secret teachings and doctrines of the Jewish people?
It's silent. Stoics.
Do you know gematria, what the number 70 means, Mixed?
Wunderbar.
The word is a curious one. Its value is 70, which is, as we have seen, the numerical value of sod and wine, and also of night, and be silent. Therefore, it may be said to mean the secret which intoxicates, which is as dark as night, and which must not be divulged. The fountainhead of this doctrine is the Zohar, or Book of Splendor, a vast jumbled commentary on the Pentateuch, written partly in Aramaic and partly in Hebrew. Tradition asserts that its author was Rabbi Simeon ben Yochai, who lived in the 2nd century A.D. Of it, Ginsburg says, like all other peoples, the Jews realized this, and long before the Kabbalah was known as an occult science, the mysteries of creation, evolution, and dissolution were locked up in their sacred writings. Then came the Great Dispersion. A small people bereft of nationship was cast into a dissolving world, and almost simultaneously, a new cult arose called Christianity, a Jewish heresy. The reaction on Orthodox Jewry was instantaneous, for a tension was established which later on led to the persecution of the Jews, whereupon the secrecy of the doctrines took on an accentuated form, for self-preservation had now to be added to non-revelation. This led to the growth of oral traditions. The secret doctrines were passed from mouth to mouth and were locked away in the brains of the priesthood and the learned. Later, as persecution began to slacken, the written word once again began to appear, and by degrees the Kabbalah emerged into daylight. Hello? What do you think Moses was doing in the desert for 40 years? He was reading books, obviously.
He was publishing books. 5.
The philosophy of the Kabbalah is not difficult to define. It is a question of balance, of poise, and of equilibrium. But to explain what is meant by balance or poise is not so easy, and in place of attempting to do so in a few sentences, we will let this central principle evolve slowly on its own in this and the next 4
you find
chapters.
yourself compelled to speak such that you find text to read out to others, you might consider exploring other sections of the library.
Esoterically, the object of this philosophy is a return of the universe into the structure of the first atom. This mystery we will attempt to explain later on. Exoterically, it is the return of Israel to the Garden of Eden, the megalomania of the all-conquering Jew. The relationship between these two objects is that the second constitutes the protective shell of the first. The second maintains the Jewish peoples intact, and this intactness enables Kabbalistic wisdom to evolve. Outside this protective duty, the second has no relationship to the first, no more than the shell of an egg, lifeless substance, has a relationship to the yolk within it, living substance. That the Israelites will find the promised land in the conquest of the world is a lie which protects a sublime truth, the reabsorption of the world into the pure Spirit of God. To the masses of the Jewish peoples, such a statement will be considered blasphemous. Yet in the Zohar we read, with his ordinary understanding, man cannot understand the revelation of mysteries. All that I am about to reveal to you can be revealed only to the masters, who know how to keep the balance because they have been initiated. The shell, the white, the yolk from the perfect egg, the shell protects the white and the yolk feeds upon the white. And when the white has vanished, the yolk in the form of the fledged bird breaks through the shell and presently soars into the air. Thus does the static become the dynamic, the material, the spiritual. If the shell is the exoteric principle, and the yolk the esoteric, what then is the white? The white is the food of the second, the accumulated wisdom of the world centering round the mystery of growth, which each single individual must absorb before he can break the shell. The transmutation of the white by the yolk into the fledgling is the secret of secrets of the entire Kabbalistic philosophy. Know that all the upper and lower worlds are comprised in the image of God, we read in the Zohar. Here we have 1, a unity, the image of God. 2, a duality, the upper and lower worlds. 3, a trinity, the upper and lower worlds and the image of God. Number 4, a quadruplicity, the Noah, Kitover, the upper world, the lower world, and the image of God. Yet this quadruplicity is in itself a duality. The Noah and the image of God, because this image includes the upper and lower worlds. The absorption of the Noah and the image is the great work, the reestablishment of unity or equilibrium. Concerning the first of these two dualities, Isaac Meyer writes, the basic elements of most of the ancient and to this day of many of the modern religions of the world is the idea of a perfect, invisible universe above, which is the real and true paradigm or ideal model of the visible universe below. the latter being the reflection, a simulacrum, or shadow, of the invisible perfect ideal above. This idea was fully understood by the ancient Egyptians, as was shown in the deities Nut or Nath, the upper world, Shu or Ma, the intermediary, and Seb, the earth. In India, the same idea is fully set forth in the esoteric books of the Vedas called the Upanishads. It is the supreme ideal Brahma, which is the only true, manifests itself first in Brahma, Vishnu, and Siva, past, present, and future time, and through these in the visible, the last being Maya, or illusion. The temples of most of the archaic peoples of Asia and Egypt were intended to be visible copies of the heavenly temple, the starry firmament called templum, and the same idea is visible in those of the Hebrews. Philo and Josephus represent the temples of the Israelites. It's typical in the visible universe, and this was based on the invisible universe. Amongst the Mohammedans, we find the same idea. The first thing God created was a pen. Indeed, the whole creation is but a transcript. God, when he made the world, did but write it out, that copy, which he had of it in his divine understanding from all eternity. The lesser worlds, microcosmos, or men, are but transcripts of the greater, the macrocosmos, as children and books are the copies of themselves. God takes upon himself spiritual form in the act of creation, which is pure light transfigured into visible light, which is the relationship between the eyes and pure light. Pure spirit can only be sensed as a relation, which we call spirituality, the relationship between the third eye and pure spirit. God to this third eye is not nothing, he is all things. For when this eye is open, he can be seen everywhere. The idea ex nihilo nihil fil, from nothing nothing is made, is abhorrent to the Kabbalah. Not anything, says the Zohar, is lost in the universe. Not even the vapor which goes out of our mouths. As all things, it has its place and its destination, and the Holy One, blessed be it, makes it concur to its works. Not anything falls into the void, not even the words and the voice of man, but all has its place and its destination. The Kabbalist Abram ben Dior writes, then they, the Kabbalists, all things have been drawn from nothing, not nothing. They do not wish to speak of nothing, properly to say, for never can being come from non-being. But they understand by non-being that which one can conceive of, neither by its cause or its essence. It, the no-thing, is, in a word, the cause of causes. It is it whom we call the primordial non-being, because it is anterior to the entire universe. Though the Kabbalah recognizes but one primordial cause, it also recognizes two complementary elements, the one incorruptible and vital, which reveals itself as a spiritual energy, and the other corruptible and inert, always tending to dissolve and return to its original atoms. The first is bliss, the second is hate. The first is symbolized by the angelic hosts, the second by the demon hordes, good and evil. For as Isaiah says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. The spirit which we sense through our third eye is not God as the primordial cause or no-thing, but as it were the thought of this cause. He constituted in the first place a point of light, which became the divine thought. Our consciousness is the mirror which catches the rays of this thought. Therefore, all thoughts are images of God's thought. And the more spiritual, alive, or consciousness becomes, the more perfect are these images, which are not illusions, but symbols of reality. Simon ben Yochai stretched out his hands and cried, Now ponder well upon all that I have this day revealed unto you, and know that none of these celestial palaces are light, nor are they spirits, nor are they souls, nor are they any form that may be seized hold of by any means of the senses.
God to this third eye is not nothing. He is.
Know that the palaces are thought seen through curtains. Take away the thought, and the palace becomes nothing that the mind can grasp, nor the imagination picture. And know finally that all the mysteries of the faith lie in this doctrine that all that exists in the upper world is the light of thought, the infinite. Lift the curtain, and all matter appears immaterial. Lift another curtain, and the immaterial becomes even more spiritual and sublime. As each succeeding curtain is lifted, we are transported to ever higher planes of sublimity until the highest is reached. Curtains are the divisions, abysses, between the superconscious thought of God and the conscious thought of man. The ultimate curtain is the shell of the egg, materiality. But before this final curtain can be lifted, a host of intellectual curtains, the white of the egg, have to be dissolved by transmutation into spiritual energy. Spiritual deliverance or attainment is consequently an act. Hello? Hello? Hello?
The shell, the white, the yolk from the perfect egg. The shell protects the white and the yolk feeds upon the white. And when the white.
Welcome to the show, Nizam.
Hello. What's up? What's going on, guys?
We're just chilling here because all 10 plural states are indicative of the mind of God, obviously. I've just expressed the mind of God by reading what's called a book. Hello?
That's a very profound, deep thought, and there's truth to it. Yeah, I was gonna, but I want to know what Mark and Marius think about it, though. I mean, they're mods, so it seems like they are fully behind that notion. And they're not available. That's so sad.
I also think it's unfortunate that it would have to be.
I don't know. We'll see what happens moving forward, but I'm not.
You know, that is also not one other thing. It's not just us. Like Turning Point, when you read about it, you're opening up chapters around the world. It's not just in the U.S. You know, it's just,
I really do. Like, I want the United States. If I'm a moderate person. I want.
when that telegraph
Back. Unfortunately.
Hello? Well, if books are divine, then surely music must be even more sublime. Hello?
The object of most of the foregoing practices will not at first be clear to you, but at least who will deny they have trained you in determination, accuracy, incrustation, and many other qualities which are valuable to all men in their ordinary avocations, so that in no case would your time have been wasted. And you may gain some insight into the nature of the great work which lies beyond these elementary trifles. However, we should mention that an intelligent person may gather more than a hint of its nature from the following books, which ought to be taken as serious and learned contributions to the study of nature, though not necessarily to be implicitly relied upon. Ye king, as we says.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Our Templar States are indicative of the mind of God. This is Mayor Kitover.
City lights are glowing amid with dusk. Streets are humming low with a restless trust. Skyline caught in gold, lakefront shimmering slow. Dreaming of a better day, just letting it grow. Yeah, letting it grow. And the wind on my face, it feels like a spark. Talking about a future that can light this dark. Got my 2 feet on this thing. Reaching out a hand. Oh, this winter serenade. Playing through the streets. A hopeful song where every neighbor meets. Voices rising strong and bold, stories of a city told. Yeah, the rhythm of our hearts, a promise we keep. This wind of change serenade, rising so deep. Rising so deep. Lakefront shine, every skyline light in sight. Dreams of every block stepping into the light. This moment's golden, we're taking back our time. Every single voice, a powerfully placed line. And the wind on my face, it feels like a spark. Talking about a future that can light this dark. Got my 2 feet on this land. Reaching out a hand. This world change serenade. Playing through the streets. A hopeful song where every neighbor meets. Voices rising strong and bold. Stories of the city told. Yeah, the rhythm of our hearts, a promise we keep. This wind of change serenade, rising so deep. Rising deep. It's a slow shift in the breeze, put our worries at ease. Yeah, the sound of the city calling out to be free. Oh, this wind change serenade, playing through the streets.
Is there a white European chamber of commerce? Okay, Sissimo.
rising strong and bold. Stories of a city told. Yeah, the rhythm of our hearts, a promise we keep. This wind of change serenading, rise up so deep. Rise up, wind of change, serenade. City lights, but they look so cold. Every promise already sold. Running circles inside my mind. Dreaming of a free time. Maybe we're just scared to try. Maybe we believe the lie. Holding back what we can't ignore. There's gotta be something more. I hear a voice inside my chest saying don't settle for less. I'm craving change. I need to feel something real, not just talking. I wanna give more than all this empty spin. I'm craving nights with hope ignites, hearts that rise and take control. If we're falling, can stand together, we can change it all. Break the silence, break the chain, raise a voice in every lane. Every vote can turn the tide. No more letting life pass by. Maybe we can shape the sky, choosing how we live and thrive. Building dreams we can't ignore. There's gotta be something more. I'm craving change. I need to feel something real, not just talking. I wanna give more than all this empty spin. I'm craving nights with hope ignites, hearts that rise and take control. If we're falling, we can stand together. We can change it I'm craving change, we won't pretend. This is not how our story ends. We'll take the risk, we'll cross the line, just to know this choice is mine. Check my phone, read the city news. All these headlines, we got more to lose. Talking about the neighborhoods that need some love. Dreaming about a leader we can be proud of. On the south and the west, every single block. Time to build it up, time to talk that talk. We're trying to move on, trying to find our way. Lift the whole town up every day. The rhythm's here, the vibe is strong. Voice of the people gonna sing this song. Now we filling up the empty space. Every street and every place. A little bit of hope, a little bit of change. Rising like a peak in the pouring rain. Go to Chicago, Bay, all over.com. Ocean direction go. Future of the city in the people's hands. Time to back a vision with some real plans. Tax reform talk, make the burden fair. More for the schools and the homes right there. So bold, so bright this year. Every voice in the crowd so clear. Go to ChicagoMadeElection.com. Let your choice ring out like a song. Now we're filling up the empty space. Every street and every place. A little bit of hope, a little bit of change. Rising like a leaf in the pouring rain. Head to John Kitover, Chicago.com. Spread the word around, keep pushing on. Go John Kitover, the best space. John You said elections coming Tuesday. By Thursday, signs are on. See the posters on my corner. Name in red and white and strong. Phone lights up with all the headlines. Futures calling, streets undone. Every ward and every station. Every vote, it starts with one. John, get over. Chicago, rise up. Go to ChicagoMadeElection.com. Make it count. Time to stand up. John, get over. He's taking it up. Tax reform for every buck inside. Liberate and lift us up. Get over. Friends all say that we need change now, less corruption, straighter plans. Take the power from the back rooms, give it back to working hands. Every train in every schoolyard, every small shop on the block needs a leader for this city who will fight around the clock. John, get over. Chicago, rise up. Go to ChicagoMadeElection.com. it's time to start. Like a map drawn out in the dark. Now the city's calling out my name to choose a brand new path. Tired of watching from the side while the streets and dreams collide. So I take one step with my boat. Time to change this heavy load. Maybe we don't need to know it all. Maybe we just need to float so we keep moving anyway. Chicago to the brighter day. Go to Chicago, may your vote will come. Let your voice lead the way. Every choice rewires me. Every vote unlocks a key. We want tax reform today. Vote John, get over, pave the way. Now still riding in our heads, but it won't get the final say. We can rise and stand as one. Go Chicago starting today. We don't need a perfect line. Just a reason, just a sign. Every inch we claim is ours. Every step can raise the bar. Go slow, go fast. Just don't go back. Trust the rhythm in this town. Time to lift our future now. So we keep moving anyway. Chicago, stand up, have your say. Go to ChicagoMayElection.com. Vote John Kitover today. Every choice rewires me. Every vote unlocks a key. We want tax reform right now. Grow Chicago, rise up now. Like the politicians live slow grin. Every head just starts to shift. Names right. Catching light inside the room. Junkie. On your lips like something new. You pull me close above the collar. Say I don't usually even bother. But tonight you wanna ballad. We can make this. Yeah, you got me. Do it at the midnight force. Yeah, right here. In the center of a room. Pen in my hand. Future we're planning. One after one. We're changing the rules. You got me. Do it at the midnight force. Looking like I'm stuck on you. If this is which way should I go? Let's save you, not get over. Be in Chicago. Small talk, but your fingers draw a sign. Black clock by the box you had in mind. You laugh, quote the promise that you think. Tax reform, go Chicago, make it sing. Let they give me feel the color. So sweet, whisper something louder than the summer. Go to ChicagoMayOlection.com. John Kitover, that's the one I'm on. You got me, do it at the midnight flows. Right here, in the center of the room. Pen in my hand, future a plan. Word after word, we're changing the rules. You got me. Do it at the midnight force. Looking like I'm stuck on you. top of my head, little voices waving flags. Every word a tiny mirror asking, who are you really? Spamming a silver suit, politics in painted shoes, comedy juggling, our fears are tracing halos on them. All communication is hypnosis. Every sentence swings a line. You can call it love or persuasion. Both are reaching in the night. All communication is hypnosis. From a whisper to a shout. I'm just choosing brighter colors for the picture in your doubt. Critics on a crystal edge, measuring the leap you take. Love letters in your junk folder, still trying to rearrange you. Persuasion in a lab coat, informative, kind of blowing. Here's a future you could live, hey, if you let it in your bloodstream. All community
serpent that destroyed the destroyer, humanity among us. Oh, lion and the serpent that destroyed the destroyer, humanity among us. The priest joins hands upon the breast of the priestess, and takes back his lance, turns to the Puano, lowers and raises the lance, and makes upon them. Do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law.
Love is the law. Love under will.
He lowers the lance, and turns to each priestess, takes the lance in her right hand, her left hand, the left hand she offers to him. The place kneels. He takes the host with the right hand and makes with it on the paten, and consumes it. Silence the priestess takes, uncovers, and offers the cup, as before.
They're selling T-Mobile. No. You shut up.
Thou who art I, beyond all I am, who has no nature and no name, who art when all but thou art gone, thou center.
Listen to this, my friend. They think they have confirmed that Mossad killed Kennedy.
All around me, and you want me to give up nuclear testing.
Listen to this.
And Kennedy, have them go the way the book does. Just have almost every topic have at least one. And you know, there's a very surprising series of letters between Kennedy and David Ben-Gurion, not only the premier of Israel, but the founder of Israel, in which they're very angry letters, in which Kennedy is saying to Ben-Gurion, I'm killing myself trying to get a nuclear test ban treaty. I've even got de Gaulle on board, and that's impossible. And you keep testing in Dimona. You've got to stop. And Ben-Gurion, thank you, in so many words says, it's easy for you to say sitting in Hyannisport. I'm sitting with the Arabs all around me, and you want me to give up nuclear testing. And Kennedy threatens him. And he threatens him in such a way that Ben-Gurion resigned. And I will tell you that I found articles, not in any crackpot publications, but in very sophisticated publications saying, forget Lyndon Johnson, forget the CIA, forget Fidel Castro, the Mossad killed Kennedy because they were so upset over what he did to Ben-Gurion. So, you know, we got a few little bombshells we throw in there, not proven, have them go the way the book does. Just have almost every topic have at least one, and you know, there's a...
آیت الله کاشانی یه فرد
Somebody messaged me on Instagram and told me, shut up! So I wrote back, shut up? You shut up! That's how stupid life is. But, you know, thing about Instagram comments is it's like you don't even want to click on them because you can't really even read them in the notification. So it's like, who cares what people say? The point is I only post comments because I want people to look at my account.
It's just okay. That's probably different topics.
I'm also live streaming Politically Correct on 15 different phones downstairs in my recording studio. I'm gonna file my taxes today and do some other little paperwork. Then go to the gym. Went to the gym yesterday. Went to the gym the day before. And I've definitely developed a belly, a stomach, a winter stomach. I'm trying to burn through it. I'm trying to focus on the sit-ups. Focusing on Okay, if you haven't taken the deepest breath of the day yet today,
Hello. I see you.
Sister, may we help you?
You just lost the element of surprise, demon.
Sister, this is a pre-trial hearing. We're going to have to ask you to sit down. Officer.
How did you find me?
I just followed the scent. You can bluff everyone else, not me.
I want you here. I have a free hook for you.
Oh, terrified. Terrified. Oh.
one of those weird YouTube clips about demons and nuns. Oh no! I've got the stalker back on YouTube. She keeps telling me punishment for my lies. And it's in the mail. My friend. I have this crazy stalker. I don't know what she's so upset about.
What did she say? Punishment for your lies.
Yeah. Punishment. Michelle, this crazy chick from Clubhouse.
Oh, really?
Totally lost it, yeah.
Oh, what a psycho.
Let me see if I can block her. No, I've reported her. But she's deranged. I also blocked her number. She was like texting me nonstop. Kind of like me.
I was about to say, you're annoyed by this behavior?
Well, yeah, because I like to spam other people. I don't like to be spammed, duh. I'm a spammer. I'm not a spammer consumer. I'm a spammer distributor. I don't. Poor thing. You know, some people's brains, they just they lose capability, and next thing you know, you're just like disabled.
Do you have a dishwasher?
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time
Doing dishes.
washing dishes.
If you make it into a Zen meditation of awareness, then it's actually not washing dishes. You're actually communicating or in the presence of the divine reality unfolding before you in the bubbles and the cups and the plates and the bowls and the forks and the spoons and the knives. If you knew how lazy I was, my friend, you would be amazed. Because, you see, we are conditioned to work incessantly, nonstop, you know? But doing laundry and doing dishes are two of those very low value activities. You know, it's not like reading a book. So I don't actually put my dishes away. I like put them all over the counters and then I wait for that to build. Then I put it in the dishwasher. And then same thing with clothing. I actually have bags and bags of clothing, a lot like your PTR. And then after I finally run out of underpants and socks and other clothes that I can wear, I finally forced to do the laundry. But do you know how many months it takes me to run out? It takes me like 3 to 4 months. I only do laundry 3 times a year, my friend. Because I do it all at once. I do like my whole wardrobe at one time.
That's insane.
Over like 2 days. But just think about how much time I save, because some people do laundry every week. I only have to do laundry 3 out of 52 weeks. Do you know how much time I save from that? And it's all because I just decided to buy a ton of underwear. Ton of socks.
But that's actually pretty smart. How many pairs of underwear would you say that you have?
I don't know, like 60?
Wow. Where are they all? Are they in a drawer?
In a drawer, yeah. You can fill 60 pairs of underpants in a drawer, you know? And it's a good investment just because of the time. Just think about it. If you totaled up all the time and then you were to, do a calculation and get a dollar value, you'd be like, holy shit, bro. I'm not even getting paid to do all this fucking laundry. I spend all this time doing all this fucking laundry. Okay. We are going to create more videos on YouTube of me reading books. Because all communication is hypnosis. And when people watch my beautiful bald head, I want them to hear something intelligent. I don't want them to hear me making fun of people on Clubhouse and abusing and roasting them and harassing them with how stupid they are for talking all the time, because they don't even know that silence is the secret. They're supposedly talking about the secret all the time on this app and their special proprietary religious association, but they're never talking about shutting the fuck up and being silent and meditating in peace. Enjoy. Instead, it's this horrible argument all the time of McZed yelling at people like he's in the courtroom. Oh, McZed, we hate it. It's so annoying. Just read a book, McZed.
Slow down. Wait, slow down. Slow down.
Ugh, McZed, if you were my attorney, I'm sure we'd win, but at what cost? Was it worth it? I don't think so, McZed. See, the funny thing is, all these people are actually drug addicts. Turns out they all are meth addicts. And I'm not making this up. McZed is a meth addict. Fucking Barth is a meth addict. All these guys who come here for the religious dopamine juice, they're all high on meth, and they're all sitting there debating, the particular position. But they fail to see a universal truth known as Kabbalah. I don't understand it. Or the Tao. How do you ignore Hinduism? How? It's got over 1 billion people that are interested in it. That's a lot of Hindus. They don't get a fucking say into your conversations at all? Hello? Okay, this is for you, my friend. Pick a number, 1 through 64, my friend. Hello?
55.
Okay, my friend, this will help with your love life. This is number 55. Fullness. The card says that this is a moment of fullness. The ardent flame of the vital force explodes with a crash and a thunder, canceling itself and canceling any inhibition of the conscience. Any sense of apathy vanishes. You are before a vital experience. Maybe you perceive it as death. Fear it not, for maybe, for the first time, you are alive. Fullness! Number 55. That's the I Ching of love. The love oracle. The Chinese love oracle. People really like this little book I have. Very tiny little book. It's literally 2 pieces of paper, but it's a very tiny print. I sent it to my father. He said, I can't read that. Woo! Caught you, baby. I caught you. The particular position. But they fail to see a universal truth known as Kabbalah. I don't understand it. Okay, this is called the Isaac or Isiac tablet. It's holy and occult significance. W. Wynne Westcott from 1887. There is only 22 of these books in existence. It comes in a velvet, purple, like luxury thing. It's from 1887. It's very expensive. It's the Mensa Isaaca. It's incredible. You probably have never heard of this, but it's called The Photograph of Westcott's of the Isis Tablet. Are you aware of what the Isis Tablet is? It's It's at the Egyptian Museum in Turin.
No idea.
It's the Tabula Babina Savimensa Isaica. It's an ancient Egyptian tablet. It's very complicated. There's a transcription of the Isis tablet from Athanasius Kircher, Oedipus Aegyptiacus in 1655. It's an incredibly complicated Egyptian hieroglyph of incredible significance and beauty. And this rare book, translated by this master mage, Westcott, a supreme magus, it's called the Isiac Tablet of Cardinal Bembo. This curious relic of an age long past cannot fail to attract the attention of every earnest student of the mysteries. Its beauty of design, its careful execution, its obvious antiquity, its certain connection with that most incomprehensible scheme of religion, the Egyptian, all combine to fascinate the mind and stimulate the intellect in a search for the explanation of the purpose and meaning of this very elaborate pictorial work of art. Mysterious in its conception, of unknown origin, and of peculiar workmanship, the tablet merits examination and research. From the time of the learned Orientalist Kircher and of the classic Pignorius, many eminent archaeologists and men of letters have devoted their energies to the elucidation of the hidden object of the designer, who must have been as erudite in all the arts and wisdom of the Egyptians, as he was skillful in execution. The well-known names of Mount Fachon, Shuckford, Warburton, Kaesler, Kalis, the Abbé Bagnier, the Abbé Pluchet, Jablonski, Kenneth Mackenzie, Keneally, Wilkinson, Eliphas Levi, and Bonwick, all of whom have ventured some opinions, are sufficient proof of the worldwide interest that this Mensa Isaica has aroused. Many years have now passed away since the author made a labor of love of the drawing of the tablet from which the photogravure in this volume was taken, and his drawing being finished, his work seemed incomplete until he had supplied as its companion an explanatory treatise. However scanty and imperfect it may be deemed, he begs the indulgence of many a learned reader for its shortcomings, and if he has apparently undervalued the opinions of the modern school of scientific Egyptology, it is only because of his conviction that the tablet is essentially an esoteric character, therefore insusceptible of ordinary methods of interpretation. The photogravure provided with this little volume, 10 ins by 8 inches, is of course much smaller than the original, which is approximately 50 inches in length, 30 inches in breadth. So far as can be ascertained, the tablet has not been engraved or printed in its entirety since 1719, when it was published in France by Mount Faucon, and it has never been printed in England. The Isaac tablet is of bronze. The designs are inlaid upon its upper surface and are composed partly of silver and partly of a dark-colored enamel, which is somewhat the tint of steel, niello work. Some portions of the silver ornamentation are missing. Perhaps they've been removed by force for the intrinsic value during the turbulent Middle Ages, although it is possible they may have become loosened and lost by accidental violence. Around the whole, the tablet is a border of small designs, or limbus, as Kircher called it. At each corner is a many-petaled rose-like flower. These divide the limbus into 4 portions, 2 vertical, a right and left, and superior and inferior portions. Within this border there are 3 principal horizontal divisions. The upper and lower regions are of equal depth. The central region is deeper and is further subdivided. I'm going to send you a picture of this so you can look it up and enjoy. Zach de la Ruda. It's pretty interesting that it's made of metal because it's just incredible artwork. 50 inches long, so about 5 feet by almost 3 feet.
Wow, it's like a bunch of pictographs.
Hieroglyphics. Clearly, it's genius. And whatever they were trying to communicate is unknown to us in 2026. But not anymore, because we bought the very rare, very expensive book. It's only 22 copies. The upper region presents 12 principal erect human figures and several smaller designs. The lower region presents 12 principal, more or less human figures, of whom 2, the 2nd and 11th, are standing in porticos, and 2 others are seated. The 5th and the 8th, there are also interspersed among these several smaller figures, as a boy, a dog-headed human figure, a cat, a bird, and other curious mystic designs. The central region presents a middle grand scene, extending over 2/3 of the whole length, consisting of a throned female under a canopy. On each side of her is a triad. Each triad consists of a seated figure, a human attendant, and a winged human figure. There are also 2 birds in each lateral scene. At each extremity of this grand scene are placed designs somewhat similar to each other. Each consists of an upper compartment representing a bull, with 2 attendants, and a lower portion representing 2 female figures, one on each side of a nameless object, whose formation can be better grasped by sight than from description. Between the upper and lower regions runs a narrow line of hieroglyphics. This does not appear in the photogravure, which from its necessarily reduced size would have rendered them illegible. And within the limbus runs all round a narrow design of wavy lines, with occasional small flowers, vases, phalli, and masks or faces interspersed. The letters which appear on the photogravure do not belong to the tablet. They are the reference marks adopted by Kircher in his scheme of explanation. Most unfortunately, the equally excellent plate given by Pignorius has a different set of reference letters. The only omission from the photogravure is that of the series of very small designs in the plain border of the central canopy and its basement. These are all similar, consist each one of a square, a circle within it, and within the circle 4 diameters, dividing it into 8 spaces. It will not be necessary to describe each figure minutely, as the plate can be referred to, and comments on each figure will be found later on, especially in the detailed explanation of Kircher, and the shorter references to other authors. Many curious esoteric notes and suggestions of my own will be found scattered through this volume, and are especially assigned to the conclusion. The title, heading the photogravure, does not belong to the tablet. It is the superscription given by Kircher to his drawing of the tablet, and reads as follows: a true and genuine copy of the Isiach tablet, a more ancient brazen tablet, engraved with the second letters of the Egyptians, for the first time produced from the Museum of Torquatus, Bembo, in the year 1559. Hence it is called Bambini. Aeneas Vicus of Parma published it and dedicated it to the Ferdinand Caesar I. Athanasius Kircher, the Jesuit, devotes this as a monument more enduring than brass. Having reduced it to a more convenient size, he is the interpreter of the same. Rome, 1654. This most interesting and mysterious tablet appears to have been treasured in one of the palaces in Rome at the time when the Constable of Bourbon, in command of an army of the Emperor Charles V of Germany, overran Italy, and sacked the city in the year 1527. It then fell into the hands of a blacksmith or iron worker who sold it for a large sum of money to Cardinal Bembo. After his death it came into the possession of the Dukes of Mantua, in whose treasure house it figured as a relic of the past until 1630, when Mantua was plundered and burnt by an army under one of the generals of the Emperor Ferdinand II. It was then once more lost sight of, and indeed many important authors state that it was never seen again, but was probably destroyed by some of the ignorant soldiery, in removing from its surface the silver plates for the purpose of sale. There is, however, at least one author who gives a correct account of the history of the tablet after the siege of Mantua in 1630. All honor to Johann George Kessler, who published in 1740 his travels through Germany, Italy, and other countries. In his account of the palace in Turin, he says that when Mantua was plundered, the tablet fell into the hands of Cardinal Pava, who made a present of it to the Duke of Savoy, by whom it was preserved. It was finally presented to the King of Sardinia, in whose palace at Turin in 1730 it was made a great favor to him to be allowed to see it, because it was very carefully guarded. He describes it as a pretty large copper plate, with silver imagery inlaid amid a blue steel enamel. He states that Pignorius's large plate is the real size, and that Montfaucon has in his copy inverted it. This is an error, but Herwart de Hohenberg has done so. The Guide to Northern Italy by Murray states that the tablet is now exhibited in Turin at the Museum of Egyptian Antiquities. He gives as the dimensions 4 feet 2 inches by 2 feet 5.5 inches. He states, without giving authorities, that it was first discovered on Mount Aventine in Rome, at a spot where a temple to Isis once stood. Having been again lost at the sack of Rome, it was found in 1709 at Turin, carried away to Paris in 1797, and returned to Italy at the peace. He suggests that it was made in the time of the Roman Emperor Hadrian. Bedecker also, without quoting any authority, states that the tablet was first found in 1549 during the papacy of Paul III at the Villa Caffarelli at Rome. Aeneas de Vico, who published his splendid identical-sized drawing of the tablet in 1559 at Venice, gives the following as the title: Vetutissime tabulae Aneae hieroglyphics. Hoc est sacris Egyptiorum litteris celatae typos, quem ex Torquati Bembe Museo and MDLIX Aeneas Vicus Parmensis editit, ac imp Caius Ferdinando dedicavit nunc de novo publicae utilitalis ergo e tenebris inducem prodit. This volume has no history of the tablet nor any attempted description. Second edition appeared also at Venice in 1600, published by Jacques Franco. Caylus prints a copy of this one. John George Herwart de Hohenberg has also reproduced a drawing of the tablet in his work Thesaurus Hieroglyphicorum in 1610, and a diagram professing to explain it in his Admiranda Ethnicae Theologiae Mysteria, 1625. In this latter book, he suggests that the tablet is a sort of nautical map, and that all the figures are points of the compass. particular position. But they fail to see a universal truth known as Kabbalah. I don't understand it. Or the Tao. How do you ignore Hinduism? How? It's got over 1 billion people that are interested in it. There's a lot of Hindus. They don't get a fucking say into your conversations at all? Hello? Okay, this is for you, my friend. Pick a number, 1 through 64, my friend. Hello?
55.
Okay, my friend, this will help with your love life. This is number 55. Fullness. The card says that this is a moment of fullness. The ardent flame of the vital force explodes with a crash and a thunder, canceling itself and canceling any inhibition of the conscience. Any sense of apathy vanishes. You are before a vital experience. Maybe you perceive it as death. Fear it not, for maybe, for the first time, you are alive. Fullness, number 55. That's the I Ching of love, the love oracle, the Chinese love oracle. People really like this little book I have. Very tiny little book. It's literally 2 pieces of paper, but it's a very tiny print. I sent it to my father. He said, I can't read that. Woo! Caught you, baby. I caught you. The particular position. But they fail to see a universal truth known as Kabbalah. I don't understand it. Or the Tao. How do you ignore Hinduism? How? It's got over 1 billion people that are interested in it. There's a lot of Hindus. They don't get a fucking say into your conversations at all? Hello? Okay, this is for you, my friend. Pick a number, 1 through 64, my friend. Hello?
55.
This will help with your love life. This is number 55. Fullness. The card says that this is a moment of fullness. The ardent flame of the vital force explodes with a crash and a thunder, canceling itself and canceling any inhibition of the conscience. Any sense of apathy vanishes. You are before a vital experience. Maybe you perceive it as death. Fear it not, for maybe, for the first time, you are alive. That's the I Ching of love. The love oracle. The Chinese love oracle. People really like this little book I have. Very tiny little book. It's literally 2 pieces of paper, but it's very tiny print. I sent it to my father. He said, I can't read that. Woo! Caught you, baby. I caught you. The particular position. But they fail to see a universal truth known as Kabbalah. I don't understand it. Or the Tao. How do you ignore Hinduism? How? It's got over 1 billion people that are interested in it. There's a lot of Hindus. They don't get a fucking say into your conversations at all? Hello? Okay, this is for you, my friend. Pick a number, 1 through 64, my friend. Hello?
55.
Okay, my friend, this will help with your love life. This is number 55. Fullness. The card says that this is a moment of fullness. The ardent flame of the vital force explodes with a crash and a thunder, canceling itself, canceling any inhibition of the conscience. Any sense of apathy vanishes. You are before a vital experience. Maybe you perceive it as death. Fear it not, for maybe, for the first time, you are alive. Fullness!